Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to The Conversation. It's another edition of the Ask Clay Anything, and we have special guest today, the co-author of the Amazon best-selling book called Start Here, which you can download for free. The ebook version, you can always download it for free at thrivetimeshow.com. And we have the renowned business coach, Mr. Eric Chupp.
Hello,
and I say renowned because there are many, many people that hold Eric Chupp in high regard, not because of anything other than because of the kind of person he is and because of the results he's helped business owners to generate. He has kind of a following there. And then we have Harley Lichtenstein, a recent graduate from Oral Roberts University, and he's here to ask us some questions about sauerkraut, David Hasselhoff, and Volkswagens. Okay, so what are your questions?
Coincidentally, I drive a Volkswagen. So.
You do?
Yeah.
I knew it!
Wow. All right. So.
Shut it, honey! I'm sorry. I just want to be an angry German for a second.
Okay. Did you get out of your system?
Yeah, I grew up in a family that was all they spoke German. My mom's parents could speak German.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and they could. So that was a thing, and so when they would get mad, they would say, "Scheiße," that kind of stuff. Like they would just, and you're like, "What did you just say?" And they had words they would say that were kind of like, there's some people like the older folks would curse in German. From time to time. So it's kind of fun.
English just couldn't convey their true anger.
Right.
Yep.
So, okay, what's your question?
All right. So this next one has to do with what are the pro tips to conducting great meetings with employees? Because, we'll talk about with clients, having these staff huddles and daily accountability meetings and just doing weekly things. But what are the pro tips to actually doing a great meeting?
The tips to doing a great meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, first off, I'd like to make sure this goes in the show notes because we have a downloadable that Marshall and I have constructed, and it explains to you how to lead a meeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Marshall walk us through how to lead a perfect meeting. But before I do that, I want to make sure that you're getting this idea. Okay. So here's the results you want to produce. Mm-hmm. You want people to get stuff done. And you want them to enjoy their job as a result of getting stuff done. Let me make sure you get this. I don't agree with probably 98% of the people listening to this right now about one concept, and then hopefully this isn't a deal breaker. Hopefully we can still be friends. When your kids play a sport and you get in the car and you say, well, at least we had fun, I would say, I did not have any fun at all. If we lose, I'm not having fun. I'm not a bad sport. I'm not going to go home and cry about it. I'm not going to argue with the ref, but I would go back. Now, this is how I did as a kid. I'm not kidding. If we lost, I'd go back and hit the weights, work out harder, push myself to be better. I'm not having fun unless we win. Now, I remember being on a basketball team that won all the time, and my coach pushed us every single day. And let me tell you what. I do not recall a single practice that was fun. We had drills on how to take a charge. That's not fun. Wasn't a guy run into you full speed? We had drills on doing pick and rolls, like intense pick and rolls where you have to set a screen that's hard. We did endless drills on full court pressing, and I did not enjoy it. We had to run cross country. And I did not like cross country. No, I did not. But I loved winning. So if I were if I was coaching youth sports, and my daughters do cheerleading, and there's a guy who gets on the microphone. He says, "Now, regardless of whether your team won or not, we all do it. We all do it. We all come here to cheer because cheering is fun. So everybody say with me now, we do it because cheering is fun. Everybody, cheering is fun." And I'm going, this guy's a heretic. Now, I would have said, all right, everybody, we've got the first place winner here. Let's hear it for him. Yes. The second place winner. Stop cheering. There was a first place winner. Yes. Everybody else, go home and get better and don't have ice cream because you would be better if you didn't have ice cream. So
second place is the first loser, Ricky.
drive home in the minivan and think about how you can get better.
If you're not first, you're last.
That's right. That would be my sort of that's a mindset of winners. And losers typically like to celebrate, well, we did our best. Let me tell you what, in business, no one gives a crap if you did your best. So my culture of all my companies, and you guys work in the office, Marshall sees it and Chubb sees it, we're not screwing around. We're wanting to win. And if we're not winning, I'm not having fun. And we do have fun when we win. We celebrate wins, but if we're not winning, I'm not going to sit there and go, you guys did your best.
Hey, pat on the back, fellas.
So, Marshall, walk us through the perfect meeting.
Perfect meeting. Number one, you got to start off with wins. What are the wins that we're celebrating this week?
What are the news?
What are the client wins? What are the employee wins? What is the good news? What are the wins?
What are the wins?
Okay, so you got to start up on building everybody up, okay? Bring those wins. Second thing is you got to go into reporting all of the metrics, okay?
Metrics.
You got to report the metrics. So everybody that is in the meeting should have metrics that they are bringing to the meeting to report on. Now, these metrics, they don't come along with a whole lot of commentary. So for one of my clients, I'm managing their entire sales team, and the entire previous meeting, last week's meeting, was spent educating on, I don't need what meetings you were in, which is why you didn't make calls, which is why you didn't set appointments. I don't need this whole narrative. I just need to know, how many calls did you make? How many appointments did you set? How many deals did you close? Just give me the raw numbers, the reporting of the numbers. And this has to be for everybody in that meeting. Now, if they're not reporting, okay, the numbers, and they are not contributing to the meeting, they should not be in the meeting. This is something that I've seen Dr. Zellner do exceptionally well.
Correct.
Is the people that need to be in the meeting are in the meeting, and everybody else is compassionately removed from the meeting. Okay?
Right.
Don't hold meetings and don't attend meetings that you don't need to be present for. Okay?
Right.
So that's kind of like an overarching view here. Then the third thing is reviewing the to-do list items. What was supposed to be done?
Right.
Did it get completed? So you're reviewing all of the previous week's action items, okay? The to-do list, okay? Number 3 is the to-do list. Number 4, and this is the biggest part here, is you got to identify, discuss, and solve all of the problems. So this is how I would recommend that you do it. You ask everybody, okay, what are all the problems that we experienced this week? Let's put them on a list. And then let's identify which ones that we want to tackle today, okay?
Right.
Which are the specific burning fires? Because typically this is what will happen. There will be 18, 19, 20 different burning fires, but you don't have the time to solve everything all at once. We're not trying to grow your business by 50% in a week. We're trying to grow it every single week by 2%, improve by the constant improvement,
right.
Committing to constant improvement.
Kaizen.
So
the Japanese word
That's
for
right.
continual improvement.
Okay. And so identify, discuss.
Yep.
Then you got to discuss what is the solution, and then assign the solution, implementation of it. So, okay, Harley, you are going to create this checklist this week in order to systematically fix this problem that we're experiencing. And then at the end, you review everybody's action items, review when they're going to be completed, and you finish it with a big win, some big momentum going out of the meeting.
This is how you do it.
I got some pylon on that, okay?
Ooh,
So that's
nice.
all exactly right,
You
Marshall.
got a pylon?
I've got a pylon right now.
Okay.
Pile on, Marshall.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what you need to know also about this meeting. It needs to be the same day and same time every week
Oh, these are good rules.
if you're going to have your team meeting,
But I
okay?
just want to do it at a different time every week.
Can't do it. Can't
Okay.
do it. Same day, same time. You have to.
fine.
Everybody has to be on the same agenda. Okay. Nobody needs to be taking notes all over the place. Everything needs to be assigned on the same agenda. You need to start on time and end on time.
Now,
Those are
this
the
is
last
a
two
thing
things.
I see all the time. This makes me crazy, and if this is you, please don't do this to yourself. If you have a staff meeting, and it's abundantly clear that you're late to your own meeting and that you don't have a plan,
Yes.
nobody will respect you. And so there was a business owner I worked with recently, and they said, is there any way you could sit in my meetings and audit them to help me make them better? Don't say anything. Just sit in and watch them. I said, sure. This person shows up, A, without an agenda. You have to have an agenda. It has to be written down. It has to be. B, they started at least 15 minutes late. C, they just talked in rabbit trails, circles. It got to a level of craziness, and I'm not exaggerating. There was a member of the team who said, because it's like 20 minutes into the meeting and nothing has been really discussed. He's just talking about his feelings and how he feels about the business, and he's frustrated with their lack of performance. And it really is just very general and broad. He's frustrated with their lack of performance. And then an employee says, well, what would you like us to do? And I'm not exaggerating. This person says, listen, I want to run my business like a dictatorship. And if the head of North Korea gets stuff done by being a dictator, then I'll be a dictator too. And I'm like, are you really using the head of North Korea as a justification for
ample example?
Yeah.
I'm being serious. And I'm going, wow, that is...
I mean, we say to learn from mentors, so...
Dude, I'm just telling you, and everybody in the meeting was like, whoa, okay. I mean, so anyway, I just would say lack of preparation is the biggest problem. You see, 1. 2, it's a refusal to do the same thing every time. People say, it's just boring doing the same meeting every time. But Marshall, that's what produces success.
Yeah, that was you hit the nail on the head. Is the employees, the people that you're following up on, the people that are attending this meeting, they're going to be like, well, are we going to just report these numbers every week?
Every week?
It's kind of like, why do we have to do this? And Clay, I know in your businesses, there's been a couple examples you've shared on the show here, but when you're running the photography company, those meetings, they don't need to go the full hour.
I would usually keep the meetings maybe 30 minutes long.
Maybe. I remember I was shadowing you.
Something like 12 minutes long.
That was more like it.
You do the big wins. Okay, what big wins do we have?
Yeah, so what big wins we have?
Do we report the numbers?
Michaela said, hey, I got this new facility that's referring us. We got a great review on the not.com.
10 out of 10s.
We got, great. Okay, great. And then
reporting the numbers.
Yeah, so how much sales did we do last week? Someone says 18,000 or 25,000 or whatever.
Right. And then identify, discuss, solve, which at that point, there are no new issues. It's just doing the same thing every single week.
I'll tell you the problem we had every single week. It was always one of the editors not mailing out the photos to the bride and groom on time.
Right.
And it was always like, oh, I completed them, but I forgot to put it in the mailbox.
The box is in my car still.
Every week that was the concern with certain people, and I'd just fire my way to success. And then eventually I had people that just got it on time. But it would be like the guy who didn't get the stuff done. He'd go, well, I just don't know. What are your tips for getting stuff done? I'm like, I don't have any tips. I'm just telling you, if you don't get it done, not just a threat, this is a promise. If you don't get it done, you'll be fired. And so we had to fire the guy. And that's just how it works. It's the same thing every week.
Every single week. And that ended up taking 12, 13, 15 minutes. And that was it.
That's it.
And so that is how you hold a successful meeting, okay? But remember, your employees are looking to the manager, the business owner, as a source of wisdom.
True.
Source of energy.
Yes.
So you must bring both of those to the meeting.
Yes.
And when you do that, you're going to have much more effective meetings. But
and they're going to look at you with a blank stare those first 5 or 6, 10, 20 meetings. They're not used to it. And they're going to look at you with no energy. They don't look like they care, because they don't.
And so you have to set that tone.
You have to set that tone.
One more tip is to stick to the agenda. So have your agenda ready and stick to it. Clay, you're a master at this. I see this all the time. Somebody will say something completely rando, and you'll kind of just look at it, and you'll just kind of look back up at the screen, right back to the next item on the agenda, and moving on. Here we go.
I take my cues from Joel Osteen. Sometimes Joel Osteen will deliver a joke that falls flat.
Yeah.
The pastor of Lakewood Church down there. As you can watch just go to Joel Osteen, go to YouTube and type in Joel Osteen sermons, and every single Sunday he does the church service the exact same way. There's a praise and worship service. Then he gets out. All right, everybody, welcome to Lakewood Church. I'm your pastor, Joel Osteen, and Lakewood Christian. We just thank you for being here. And we always like to start off by with a little joke, And so he tells the joke, and almost every time it's either not funny or kind of funny.
How many push-ups can Chuck Norris do?
And then he'll go, all right, grab your Bibles.
All of them.
But he basically, he just moves on. Mm-hmm. When it's not funny, he goes, all right. He doesn't sit there and apologize. Right. And that's what he does. So that's how you lead a perfect meeting. Does that answer your question, Mr. Harley?
It sure does.
And without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom.